I realize that there's a lot going on in this film. There's a lot of very serious issues about getting older and you know, the life unlived. But really, it just comes down to a penis dance. That's what this is, right? So let's just get that out of the way, because I'm not even gonna let talk about that scene. Talk about. I mean, obviously it was planned. Obviously, hopefully, maybe prosthetics involved. But just talk about that day on the set and.
Well, yeah. Well, before it was just me by myself when writing the script. You know, communing with God, and this is what God showed me. No, it was probably, it's funny, and I know it's so silly that it's that moment that we're talking about, but it was my moment as a filmmaker where I was, I was standing there on set. We have all the crew around us. We have these two amazing actors that I've been watching for years, wearing prosthetic dicks, just weenie whopping back and forth, and I'm just standing there like, I did this. and it was, yeah, it was the first moment I realized that, you know, like this is something that came from a seed and is now happening, you know, in real.
I mean, so what specifically? What's the process there with the prosthetics?
What's the process? Okay.
So as long as we're on the topic.
Yeah. So we contracted an FX house that's like out in Burbank.
Not Van Nuys.
No, please. This is a classy film. No, they actually did the prosthetics on the Butler. Not sure if they did the prosthetic dicks in the Butler, but they did all the face stuff. But anyway, they're like an amazing, you know, they do all the big movies, and we went to them and basically said, you know, we're a small production. We have this moment that we really want to capture in the movie. Would you guys be willing to work with us? And they were completely excited to do it. And the first, it's funny because the Naomi Scott, the producer, who's Adam Scott's wife. My first ever professional interaction with Naomi was me, Adam Scott, Mark Duplass, and Naomi all emailing pictures of dicks to each other because we were trying to decide what the size ratio should be of the two. So hopefully our emails don't get hacked eventually because it's just going to be a dick cornucopia.
So, I mean, to kind of go back, I guess, to the beginning of the project, I mean, was it kind of a project that was necessitated by need in terms of like, I have maybe this amount, these many locations, let me try to think of something that's going to fit in that? How did this whole thing start?
Yeah, it actually, I mean, it's funny, like, you know, it's such a, like, weird reverse engineering, like, way to, like, be inspired and come up with a story, but it really did come from me having made this other film, Creep, with Mark Duplass, which will be out this summer at some point. There'll be an announcement about it soon. And that sort of taking a long time, and Mark saying, you know, in the meantime, if you want to write something that can kind of be filmed in a contained, you know, way, sort of taking off the model of his other film, The One I Love, or Your Sister's Sister, you know, he said, I'd love to produce it for you. And so I wrote this film, you know, with those first elements, knowing that, you know, I wanted to set it primarily in one location. I wanted to have, you know, 4 actors in it, and then going from there and thinking about the story and thinking about now what could we have, you know, happening here to make these spaces and make these characters feel dynamic. And so, you know, in the initial genesis of Mark and I talking about it, we talked about a lot of these films that sort of take place in 24 hours. I was thinking a lot about like overnight, after hours, and Adventures in Babysitting, and you know, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, and these movies where you're really, you know, kind of experiencing the events of the film almost in real time with the characters, and sort of the narrative license that you end up sort of being able to take as a filmmaker with that is really exciting and fun.
One of the interesting things that the first time I watched it was thinking, what makes this unusual is it's not just about these two couples in this house. There are children nearby, which does make a difference, and it adds a level of, I don't know if it's tension or just weirdness to everything, but was that always something that was sort of a factor in this, that there were kids sleeping? I mean, it forced the one couple to stay there. They was a little hesitant to just pack up and leave, but at the same time, having kids nearby was a weird thing, and
Yeah, no, it was, I mean, yeah, no, it's another factor, like, sort of that's compounding on them to stay, you know, like, there's the element of, like, just social niceties and social graces and the fear of not wanting to offend and how that will make you do all kinds of stuff that you weren't expecting you were going to do. And, you know, but yeah, the kids, you know, I kind of regret not checking in on them again at some point in the middle of it, but I don't know, it might have been a little far-fetched. But yeah, no, that just came from just wanting to sort of add another layer of kind of authenticity to it, you know, and thinking about when my wife and I go over to our friends' houses who have kids, we usually will hang out with the kids, have dinner, you know, put the kids to bed, and then, you know, drink wine and smoke pot, and hang out,
Yeah,
you know.
It's ellipses.
Right. We don't go as far as they go in this movie, but, you know, just, it's, yeah, it just kind of came from thinking of how, you know, the reality of this type of situation.
Were there, I mean, you know, again, I mean, this film and Creep had Duplass involvement. Were there techniques, I guess, of theirs that you brought into this? Because they're known for some degree of improvisation. They certainly work. You know, the actors they collaborate very heavily with the actors. I mean, so was this a Duplass production in certain ways, and how might you have broken, I guess, from that way of doing things?
Well, I mean, so this Creep, the film that I made with Mark, that was entirely improvised. The whole movie, it's a found footage movie, and Mark and I are the only actors in the entire film. We didn't have a crew, so it was just me, Mark Duplass, and a movie camera, essentially, and, you know, a 5-page film treatment. So we're essentially making up all the dialogue as we go along. So I learned, you know, that is if there is the trenches of indie filmmaking, that is it. You know, I almost think it should be like a workshop or something where you just go in the woods with Mark and get weird, and which it was for me. So I learned a lot about I don't know, sort of just like trusting my instincts and creating an environment in which you can fuck up and fail, basically, as an actor, and not feel like you did something wrong, you know? And so that is a big thing that I transferred over to making this film. Like, this film was entirely scripted, but at the same time, you know, I would meet with the actors every day, we would go through the sides, and anything that was in the script that didn't feel right or didn't sound right, we would make adjustments, you know, and whether that was me contributing or the actors contributing, we would make adjustments. And then there were also takes that we'd do that were improvised as well, if we had the time for it. You know, we shot the film in 12 days, so we were shooting like up to 10 pages a day with, you know, a bunch of, it was mostly within the house, but location changes and stuff. So it was really, you know, there wasn't a lot of time to play. Although, at the same time, because we were shooting it all at nighttime, because, you know, we were up at this weird house, you know, at the top of this hill, I don't know, it created this sort of sense of focus that I think allowed the actors, like, I know, you know, in speaking to all of them, they all felt super comfortable and had a great time, and I feel like it shows through in their performances.
Did I read somewhere that you accidentally deleted the screenplay, or most of the screenplay, at some point irretrievably?
Yeah, it's like script writing 101. Press save. I don't know what I did. I deleted the first 70 pages of the first draft, basically, as I was writing. And I had to go back and I had an outline that I was writing off of, so I had like the basis of it, but I had to go back, and it was great. I mean, it was, for me, it was like, it was a real test, I guess, of is this something I really want to make? You know,
your memory.
Yeah.
But do you have recollections of things that changed as a result of having to rewrite it?
It's better. You know? I don't know.
So much.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, no.
I lost those 70 pages.
No, I don't think that. I mean, no. No regrets.
So how did the casting work in the film, and then how did that affect, I guess, the direction of the film once those actors are put in place?
Yeah. So let's see. This was Mark and I going out to all the cast with Mark already attached as a producer and me as a director. So no one had heard of me, so that's not like they're going to be jumping at the chance to work with me. But Mark has a great reputation right now with these smaller movies, and so it was actually quite easy to get folks interested. The first person that was actually involved with the movie was Judith, the French actress that's in the film. She had been wanting to work with Mark for a long time, and I had actually happened to write this role for like a sexy French mom, and she was perfect for it. So, so she came on board first, and then Adam and Naomi we brought it to because we knew they were wanting to produce films, and they were wanting to sort of like they wanted to sort of take the opportunity to try out this this model that Mark's been using. And so we brought it to them with Adam acting in it and producing, and Naomi is sort of our main day-to-day producer. Naomi's sort of she was, we had no first AD, we had no wardrobe person, it was all Naomi and I basically putting that together. And then Taylor Schilling came on board, and Jason Schwartzman actually came on like a couple weeks before we started filming. It was down to the wire. We had already paid for the location, we paid for half the rentals. It was ready, and that's a nerve-wracking way to go into a movie, not knowing who one of your main stars is going to be, because obviously it's going to alter the chemistry of the whole thing depending on who it is. And I just thank God that it was Jason that came in, because I really feel like that role could have gone either way. It could have gone too far into the creepy side of things, and sort of just and not the fact that he's got this like connective, loving thing going on at the same time. Just
I can't think of it. I mean, I feel like there was with Schwartzman that I kind of knew what he was capable of, like he's good at neurotic, he's good at but to see him confident and this outgoing and seductive. Both men and women, it really threw me, because I can't remember a time recently, at least, that he's played a character that much force and that much energy.
Yeah, no, I think on the page, Kurt reads as an enigmatic, alluring guy, and probably more on the creepy side of things. And it was because Jason just has this. I don't know, his natural instinct as a human being is to be like this inclusive, loving dude, and that really, we also didn't have rehearsals for the movie. We, any preparation came from me just having breakfast or lunch with them a couple times before we started filming. So it was really just a matter of, sort of feeling out everyone's natural personality and then trying to tailor each character more to their natural personality, as opposed to pushing it into something where it felt like we were, going off the rails and being disingenuous.
No, that's what, Patrick, it means the world to us that you are here. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. It's such a treat.